Hello YouTube, Liverpool fan in Japan here, the Miyazaki man Sai. The big match at the Etihad against Manchester City is coming up rapidly on the weekend. Who will start in our midfield? This is probably the toughest choice to make because Mac Allister in the 6, Wataru Endo allowing Mac Allister to be pushed forward into the 8. Ryan Gravenberch come back. Curtis Jones is also due after the international break as well. Our starting midfield is the conundrum that everybody wants to know the answer for. And here I'm going to go through the different tactical variations on why certain setups make a lot of sense. Now, I previously announced a competition. Whoever could guess my favourite player in the comments on that particular video would win Miyazaki Karamen, the most tasty and unique ramen in all of Japan. Kyushu Miyazaki's finest. It's about 6-7 quid a pack. The hottest, second hottest tomato variant for, you know, those that don't like some spice. And the correct answer is Xabi Alonso. He added such class and flair to our midfield. My goodness, I was so proud to have him in that midfield. Style, profile, amazing ability, moved Gerrard out of position because we needed Alonso and Mascherano to dominate the midfield. Alonso, quarterback position, dictating play, is so elegant, so classy. We just looked a different team when he was absolutely orchestrating the play. Those long balls to feet, majestic. Absolutely top class. I had an Alonso Champions League shirt, someone nicked it. Here's what it is. Let's get on with the show. Let's spin the wheel. 3 of our predictions. To the right, we had Marcus 199510, Tim J 3020, and Ruff 1031. So I'm going to click to spin and let's see who we get. And the winner is Marcus 199510. Congratulations, Marcus. You get your choice of Miyazaki Karamen. All you need to do is let me know which one you want in the Discord link in the channel below, and I'll send it your way. Lots more ramen and other goodies coming your way very soon. I'll announce another competition this week. Make sure to subscribe to this channel to keep up with all the competitions. Enter, it's all free. And make sure you like the video as well. Helps the video get seen. Now, what do you have to do against Manchester City? They dominate possession, they dominate the ball, they're very quick in the transition, they move the ball very quickly as well. Does that mean you need destroyers? Well, who are our 3 best destroyers? Probably Wataru Endo, Alexis Mac Allister, and Dominic Szoboszlai. But saying that though, Curtis Jones has been starting predominantly all the big fixtures on the left side in the 8, which means Curtis Jones on the left side of the 8, Dominic Szoboszlai on the right side of the 8, which leaves Mac Allister as the number 6. I've mentioned many times before that Jurgen Klopp loves Mac Allister as the holding midfield player because he is a tempo maestro, who's the general who delivers the tactics on the pitch, the vision of Klopp's midfield play to break that first press, that first line, the offensive press onto the deep lying playmaking position. Mac Allister is very adept at receiving the ball and playing the ball around, but doesn't absolutely play to his strengths. But then again, Mac Allister is not a fully fledged 8 as well. He doesn't go really box to box. He is that kind of transitional player who receives the ball and keeps the ball flowing, keeps the ball simple. He can beat a man or two with intelligence and movement, but he hasn't got the utmost skill in the dribbling or even that incisive passing. Actually, Wataru Endo and Szoboszlai from a deep position have more incisive passing than Mac Allister, to be honest. However, Mac Allister does play that role for Argentina very deep with De Paul and Enzo Fernandez alongside him in the midfield triumphant. However, I think it's very interesting Ryan Gravenberch's potential involvement in the play because of all the midfielders, he is the fearless one, the one with the absolute, you know, kind of youthful brashness and enthusiasm. He is the X factor and unpredictability. Do you remember when Oxlade-Chamberlain was bang in form? He could break the lines with a run. Obviously, he's got a hell of a shot, Oxlade-Chamberlain, something that Gravenberch probably doesn't quite possess to that level, that caliber, but Dominic Szoboszlai does. So do you play your 2 progressive 8s, Ryan Gravenberch on the left and Szoboszlai on the right, because they are the long-range threats? They're the ones who can break the lines with a powerful run. They're the ones that you can't account for man-to-man because, once again, they can beat that player one-to-one. Or do you break up the play, as I mentioned, with your destroyers, which means Wataru Endo is the disciplined sitting holder to get the ball off the opposition or intercept it or break the channels of passing lanes to Erling Haaland, which is very important because predominantly the number 6's position. Actually, the most important facet of that is to stop the ball going into Haaland's feet, to stop the ball going to Bernardo Silva's feet, into Grealish's feet, any of the wide players, right? So, even Jeremy Doku. I think there's a lot of different tactical ploys at play here, and you've got to really consider what are the mini battles that we absolutely must win in order to get some points at the Etihad. potentially 3 points, because 3 points is much more valuable than a draw. You can't play for a draw because you'll end up losing. And also, if you go for the win and you manage to overturn City at their own stadium, that 3-point swing could be huge. Now, a lot of people are expecting City to win anyway. They're at home, so actually 3 points in them won't be such a mentally draining defeat as you'd expect. They are the favourites, rightfully so, top of the league as well. However, Liverpool have the chance to really cement their push for the title if they manage to get 3 points at Etihad, and that sends a message to the rest of the Premier League as well. And with absolute crazy chaos up front, Darwin Núñez, agent of chaos, you never know what can happen. He might bang in a hat-trick, it might come off his ass, it might come off his shoulder, he might nut and KO Gakpo, you never know what's going to happen. And Mo Salah, a man for the big occasion, he knows exactly how to play against City. Do you remember that jinking run? He put Laporte on his ass. And while Harvey Elliott is a legitimate midfield option, his preferred role in midfield is right-sided 8, but he's not going to get there ahead of Szoboszlai, so I don't think he's a realistic starter for this particular matchup. But however, I do think he has a role to play, because when he comes off the bench, he is electric, he is lightning. He unlocks Salah and gets Salah the ball more than any other player probably in the squad when he comes on. And literally, when Elliott goes into that half space, in that central half right-sided space, Salah can drift more to the striking position, because Elliott knows that he has the facility to not only overlap, he can underlap as well, because left-footed right-sided midfielder cutting into that central position allows Salah to go in and around the penalty box area as a poacher. There's that option as well. Elliott unlocks Salah to be more progressive if we need that as well. Szoboszlai either goes deeper in position late game or on the left hand side. Let's see how it unveils, but I don't think Elliott is a realistic starter for this game. Unfortunately, Bajcetic is still on the road to recovery. Hope his body recovers soon as well. And Thiago Alcantara would have been absolutely perfect for this game, because he'll get this foot on the ball and make us play as well. But with the midfield of potentially Mac Allister, Szoboszlai, Curtis Jones, Gravenberch, Wataru Endo, we have a lot of midfielders they can do that function as well, because they're multifaceted. They can get on the board, they can dictate play, get their mind on the play, but also realistically they've got to think what we need to do to stop the opposition play, because Bernardo Silva, very, very silky, gets on the board, dictates the play. Rodri as well, being that central pivot for central midfield, kind of anchorman for Man City, holding position, holding line, does what Wataru Endo does on our side as well. He is an important facet to make sure that he doesn't get his head up, get his foot on the ball and make City play. He's actually a threat from his long range drives, huge deflection the other week as well. Watch out for Rodri progressing from deep, the kind of Lampard position, last man, beating the press, beating the line. We've gone deep, engaged, and he comes on to ping the ball from the edge. Lucky for us, there's no Yaya Toure, but Lucas Leiva would have bossed him anyway, had him in his pocket. And De Bruyne, our arch nemesis, obviously missing for this game as well. Haaland picked up an injury on duty. I think rolled his ankle or something, but I think he'll be back. He's always going to be back for that as well. That defence, it'll be very interesting to see how they play out there. Does Ake play in that back line? Does Akanji play? Ruben Diaz is probably definitely going to play. It'll be very interesting to see what they do. Walker, I think it'll be vital for them, because he will be up against Lucho Diaz. And speaking of Lucho Diaz, 2-goal win over Brazil, coming triumphant over the return of his dad as well. He's got something to prove as well. I'm really looking forward to this. And Jota the Slaughter, he only needs one chance to absolutely bury it as well. This is going to be a fantastic game, but it really will be won or lost in the midfield, because I think in this particular game there will be a much bigger emphasis on Liverpool breaking the lines quickly with the ball. Get the ball, release Núñez, get the ball out to Lucho Diaz, get the ball, play Salah in the half space with an overlapping fullback, get Trent up further, pushing into the field. I really think what Klopp is going to aim to do in this particular game is get Szoboszlai and Trent breaking the lines with progressive passing and running through the midfield as well, because that is the one thing that City cannot control. They can control the passing lanes, they can control the pivots in midfield, they can control against transitions from defensive to offensive. But when you're man against man, a mano a mano, you can't stop a player driving past that first person who's shielding him, blocking him off, which commits the second player, breaking their shape, and there's your opportunity. So it'll be up to Szoboszlai and probably Trent to break that first initial line and then look to release Salah, Lucho Diaz or Núñez in and behind. Off you go, because City are not the most defensively solid team. They have great defenders, they have great shape, but the emphasis is not on defending. The emphasis is on ball retainment, ball recycling, moving you around, moving you out of position. And similarly, if they're transitioning to that effect and we manage to turn over the ball, one quick ball will release one of the three attackers and off we go. So with that in mind, Wataru Endo, I think, could make a huge impact in this game, but he probably won't start. In all honesty, number 6, it's going to be Mac Allister. It's going to be Alexis Mac Allister, because Jurgen Klopp has defined that role, that position in the pivot for him to receive the ball invite the pressure on in hopes that Mac Allister can break that line with the initial pass, the initial short pass. He's not one for hitting long balls, right? And it'll be Mac Allister alongside Trent who will invert into that position. Now this is a dangerous ploy because Guardiola is a very big fan of inverting the fullback João Cancelo into that position, and he fully understands the acute tactical advantages of that box formation, but also the flaws and weaknesses, which is why if we do play that formation, we've got to make sure that absolute defensive awareness and responsibility is a must. But Klopp has always gone aggressive against Manchester City. Do you remember that game where he started Firmino, Jota, Mane and Salah straight up 4-2-4, bypassed the midfield, pressing the attack? First 20 minutes we're dominant. We should have scored. If we scored, we would have won that game. Then gone to normal formation. Unfortunately, we had the chances and we didn't score. Guardiola adapted. We lost like 80% possession for the rest of the game. However, Klopp likes to surprise Guardiola and goes gung-ho and goes for, the nuclear strike in there. And in that regard, Trent will transition into the double pivot with Mac Allister. Mac Allister will hold. Szoboszlai is an absolute nailed-on starter on the right side of midfield because he offers so much. He's probably our player of the season and Premier League player of the season to date. Who knows? Salah actually has a lot of contributions as well, but Szoboszlai has been an amazing buy, probably buy of the season, even at 60 million in one lump sum, absolute value for money, which leaves the left-sided midfield as the most hard to predict player for involvement. Now, if everyone's fully fit and on form and raring to go, I put Curtis Jones there. And the reason is Curtis Jones provides something that not many other midfielders in the Premier League can offer. And that's saying something, right? He's still a youngster. He's a scouser come through our system. Curtis Jones, you must be crazy. No, Curtis Jones is one of the best ball retainers on anywhere in the pitch. If he receives the ball on the left wing, on the right wing, in the 6th position, in the fullback position, in the offensive 8 position, on the turn, in space, he is one of the safest pair of legs to receive the ball because his touch is usually very good. His technique is very good. He can turn left, he can turn right, he can play left-footed, he can play right-footed, he can play a pass, he can play a ball over the top, he can cross as well, he can retain the ball. He's actually getting better and better at decision making in terms of what to do with the ball, recycling the ball, and a tempo maestro, something Gini Wijnaldum was very good at. Gini Wijnaldum had more of the kind of arse and frame and hips and body and physicality to hold players off, do a bit of a dribble, usually towards his own half, and play the ball safe. Curtis Jones has the same, but Curtis Jones actually has a lot of offensive attributes, which Gini Wijnaldum actually has as well, because Gini Wijnaldum used to play alongside the front three in terms of the offensive midfield positions. In a 4-2-3-1, he could play 10, he could play left, he could play right. He wasn't really a striker, but he was an offensive, attacking-minded midfielder, as was Curtis Jones, and they've been moulded into this kind of recycling ball magnet, because the ball comes to them, they keep the ball, look for options, keep the ball going, keep the ball moving. And you need a safe pair of legs to be able to release pressure off different congested areas of the pitch. And Curtis Jones does that functionality very good. And he's back after the international break, but he lacks form and rhythm. So will he start? Question marks there. The only other potential option, I think, is Ryan Gravenberch. He won't put Gakpo, I think, in that position because Gakpo is a progressive 8 who can break the lines as well. But Gakpo is very much adept as the false 9 position. Not really a false 9, more of a shadow striker coming into the attacking midfield role, number 10 role. Not playing as a playmaking number 10, but playing as a advanced player with good feet who can hold the ball, turn both ways and drive with the ball, right? A deep lying forward beyond the last line runner. I think Gakpo has his time and place. This is probably not the game for him, and he's not a natural midfielder anyway, but he is useful against low block teams in that regard because he can shoot from both sides as well and adds a bit of height and physicality, and he's a workhorse as well. But it'll be Darwin Núñez up top, and I think for this particular game, all being fit and all being balanced and well, Curtis Jones left, Szoboszlai right, Mac Allister in the 6, Trent inverting, it'll be a box. Trent, Mac Allister, Szoboszlai, Curtis Jones. Saying that though, Endo will have a big role to play because if we do get the lead, we need to close it out, and there's no one better at closing the lanes. The off-the-ball monstrosity, he is amazing on his off-the-ball work. I'm sorry, if you don't appreciate it and you can't see it, it's not on me, it's on you. He is able to cover the lines. You may say lack of speed or people run past him. His job is to stop the ball going to Erling Haaland or on the break or transitional play, or creating a dirty foul, or holding the ball, or penetrating first lines with a quick pass as well, retaining the ball. He's very adept, very good at that. Watch the Japan international matches. I know what I'm talking about. Anyway, Gravenberch will also have a big role to play because it's not always the players that start the game that absolutely are the vital pieces. It's people who end the game as well, who hold on to the result, who can break the lines to get you the extra goal, or to do something unpredictable. He's a little agent of chaos in the midfield as well, because he's got these kind of lanky, languished turns as well. It's unpredictable. You don't know what Gravenberch is going to do. And in and around the edge of the penalty area, where it's the most dangerous for the opposition to commit a foul, Gravenberch is a foul magnet. My goodness, his ability to shift the ball after his first touch is immaculate. Okay, his shooting needs a bit of work as well, and his composure, and his final ball. However, he's so awkward. He's so awkward to defend. And you want that Nunes and Gravenberch, mixing it up in and around the penalty area. Gotta love it. And actually, no matter how good Gvardiol is as an overall player and defender, if he was to play left back against Salah, I fancy Salah all day long in that position. So, yeah, really optimistic about this match. Big decisions to be made in the midfield. But I believe we'll probably go with our starting lineup from the start of the season. We've always usually done well, and we've usually controlled the midfield as well. And Curtis Jones is a vital component of that. So if he's fit and ready and shown good form in training, Jones, Szoboszlai, Mac Allister, with Trent forming the box.